Have you ever noticed that the Bikini Bottomites are kind of jerks?
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
I was watching SpongeBob the other day, specifically where the whole town makes fun of SpongeBob for loving his grandma, and I thought, man, everyone's an a-hole.
Hey, Grandma's boy! Cushy, cushy, cushy!
I mean, they literally found out where his old granny lived, stood outside her window and laughed at him when he was just being a sweet little grandson. What the hell is wrong with these people? Don't they have jobs? Watching this really got me thinking about all the other times the town's residents have been absolutely awful. Therefore, I thought it'd be funny to go over the worst things they've ever done and see if we can find a reason why they are the absolute worst.
Hey, buddy, you need a ride? I was just on my way to the big doofus convention.
This is humiliating.
They are needlessly rude for no reason. So, when did this start? Let's go back to the earliest example that I can think of, which is when SpongeBob delivered this pizza to someone in season 1, and the customer went absolutely crazy.
You call yourself a delivery boy? Well, I ain't buying!
And yeah, when Uber messes up your order, it can be annoying, but Jesus, calm down, mate. And from here, I found that this wasn't just a one-time case of someone being a jerk. Almost every single fish in Bikini Bottom is just like this. Just take this other early example, now in season 2 in the episode Squirrel Jokes. So here at the Krusty Krab, they are hosting a comedy night, and SpongeBob goes on stage to tell some jokes, and yeah, sure, his jokes are a little lame, but there's no need for this.
What smells rotten and puts people to sleep?
Noxious gas?
Your act!
Basically, SpongeBob is stinking up the stage here, so in a desperate bid to win some laughs, he starts cracking jokes at the expense of his friend Sandy. The crowd thinks that they're hilarious and end up believing that squirrels are actually dumb, and next thing you know, they start picking on her while she's just going about doing her day-to-day thing.
I know, let's try and communicate with it.
Not helped by this rude lady.
Don't stand too close to a squirrel, Billy. You'll catch it stupid.
The resolution of this episode is SpongeBob instead making fun of everyone. So at least I've got to give them some credit for being able to laugh at themselves. Even still, the townsfolk would carry on their asshole ways, always seeming to have some mean passing comments.
Hey, I just got my license!
Hey, I'm getting mine next.
Hey, I doubt it!
They just seem a bit up themselves and somewhat entitled. Like, just look at season 3's The Sponge Who Could Fly, where SpongeBob is trying to achieve his dream of flying. So he straps himself to a kite, and when he fails, the whole town finds it hilarious and calls him a nutcase. But when SpongeBob actually starts flying, they're all over him, taking advantage of him and making him do all kinds of menial tasks.
Untangle my phone cord.
Do my geometry?
Talk to my plants.
Rub my scalp?
Eventually, SpongeBob gets sick of this and tries to fly away, but they won't let him go that easy.
He's getting away!
No, he owes us favors.
They chase him through town and even get Old Man Jenkins to fire himself out of a cannon to pop Spongie's pants. And you know what? Maybe I'm coming around to Plankton strapping buckets on their heads in the movie. They're arseholes. And the thing about Bikini Bottomites is that individually they're extremely savage in that they can hurt someone with their words, but together they can be extremely violent and hurt with their fists. Like in season 3's The Bully, when SpongeBob runs down the street in terror, which leads the townfolk into thinking that this sweet old man is the bully.
So, you like kicking butts, do ya? Well, we'll show you, old man! There he is! Go get him!
And this happens again later on too.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
On one hand, I think at least it was nice that they were trying to stand up for SpongeBob because they legit thought this old man was bullying him. But on the other hand, I just think they wanted an excuse to beat someone up, especially a defenseless old man. In fact, they barely even need a reason to riot.
That's a great idea! Let's start a riot!
I mean, riots are so common in Bikini Bottom that there's actually businesses set up especially for them, like pitchforks and torch sellers. Which, you know, might be an even more profitable business than selling Krabby Patties. Actually, on second thought, Krabby Patties seem to be the only thing that's keeping this violent mob in check. Because in the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, the town turns into a complete wasteland when the Krabby Patties disappear. There's destruction everywhere because of the riots, and it's total chaos. Plus, they can get seriously bloodthirsty. Just look at when Plankton opened up the Coliseum in season 6.
Rip his sausages off!
You know, as a kid, I used to think it would be really cool living in Bikini Bottom, but now as a grown-up, it looks terrifying.
Boring! I want to see some body parts!
There are tons more examples of the town being jerks, like in season 6's Giant Squidward, where Squidward becomes very tall and the entire town go all medieval and chase him with pitchforks. They then tie him down and won't let him free until he acts nice. And just like when they took advantage of SpongeBob's flying abilities, these fish then make Squidward do countless jobs.
Do my homework?
Dust my attic?
Feed my snail?
And even after doing all these tasks, they become furious when he doesn't say bless you after someone sneezes.
He didn't say bless you.
Get him!
These inconsiderate pricks are always being mean just to be mean. Like when this one fish sat on SpongeBob.
Excuse me, sir. You're sitting on my body, which is also my face.
Or this douchebag who hid pickles under his tongue in that one episode. Why did he do that? And speaking of Bubble Bass, would you be interested in seeing individual deep dives on these characters? If so, let me know in the comments. And despite the fact that it's SpongeBob who actually makes their favourite food, they seem to absolutely loathe him. They detest him so much that they actually have a National No SpongeBob Day. It involves them leaving the town for the day, building a giant wooden effigy of SpongeBob, burning it down to the ground, and dancing on its ashes. They love this holiday so much that one time, this one-day event stretched into an entire week.
Yay, but you guys have been away for weeks!
We kind of milked it a little.
But then again, if I'm being fair, SpongeBob's not totally blameless. He's messed up a lot. Mostly because of his childlike and naive carelessness.
We did it, Patrick! We saved the city!
SpongeBob has effed up a fair few times. Like when he shrunk everyone down to being super tiny, or that time where he mistook everyone for aliens, so he captured them and sent them all to the moon. So yeah, maybe it is understandable why so many Bottomites would have an issue with him.
SpongeBob, we aliens would like a word with you!
Saying that though, I don't think that's the reason why they're such a-holes. So what is the reason, you ask? Maybe it's because they're so salty. Or maybe it's because they're just under a lot of pressure. You know, because there's a lot of pressure under water. Alright, bad jokes aside, but I guess you could blame the radiation from the nuclear bomb testing. I suppose that's enough to make anyone a little crabby. But you know what, putting that theory aside, there could be a fair few other reasons why the Bikini Bottomites are just so rude. Because some people think that they just reflect the worst parts of our society, the parts of us that are quick to anger, eager to crush someone's dreams, or are just plain mean. They are like a satire on mob mentality and collective behaviour, where the background characters act more like a unified group than as individuals with their own thoughts and feelings. But in my opinion, the townsfolk are jerks because it serves the purpose of that story. Their rudeness is the perfect contrast to SpongeBob's cheerful, carefree persona. It's a bit like how he is with Squidward. And let's face it, their extreme reactions make things way funnier. Their negativity just makes SpongeBob stand out more as this beacon of positivity. Also, without conflict between SpongeBob or whoever, there's no story to wrap up. Every episode needs a narrative arc, so the writers will always cook up something for the main characters to tackle and eventually resolve. Like SpongeBob making jokes at Sandy's expense, which created the conflict heightened by the town's shitty attitude, which soon made SpongeBob alleviate the conflict by making jokes about them. Like the previously mentioned episode, The Sponge Who Could Fly, for example, where the whole town doubted him, which only made him more determined to prove them wrong. At the end of the day though, it's the background characters' exaggerated reactions that make the show so hilarious. I bet you can't name most of these characters, but I'm sure you remember that one fish shouting,
Big, meaty claws!
or the one who screams this.
Chocolate! Chocolate!
And let's not forget this classic mob scene.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Seriously, one of the best memes from the entire show. And it's because of their over-the-top behaviour that makes these moments stick so well in our minds. But why do you think they're such a-holes? Let me know your theories down in the comments below.